Hi, I'm Love Kumar. I born in non-Christian family and my parents died when I was kid. One of my uncle put me in Christian orphanage where I grew up there for 15 years. The very first time I felt that God is there and when we speak He hears us is when I was 8. My brother was very sick and not moving, or there was no movement in him for 3-4 days. And there was one of the nurse from the orphanage that who asked us to pray that when children prays that God will listen. We started praying. We don't know what is even prayer, but we started praying whatever we could speak. And in fact, my brother started speaking and saying that God is coming. I can see God and all. And that is the moment that I felt there is God. When we speak, He hears us. When I was 12, my brother died, and the same year God sent one person from UK to share His love for me. As He promised, John 14:18, it says, I will never leave you as orphans, I will come to you. And I started growing in spiritually. When I was 14, I was affected with the muscle disease where I suffered a lot, and doctors were suggested to use injections for 10 years. But people were prayed for me and I was healed in 5 years. And in 2017, I was affected with tuberculosis where doctors gave up on me and said that I will not survive for more than 2 days. But there were a lot of people who prayed for me. And in fact, from the 2 days I started recovering. I got healed completely in just 6 months from the tuberculosis. I praise God for it. After my 10+2, I had no place in the orphanage to stay as I am 18+. I had to move out. And one of my uncle called me to stay with him and do graduation over there. As I'm already a Christian, I used to go church and pray and used to have friendship with Christian people, and I used to read my Bible. But my uncle and his family, they didn't like that I'm living with Jesus. They asked me to leave Jesus, that they will give me house, shelter, college fees, everything, and asked me to leave Jesus. But all I need is in my life, that is Jesus. So I said, let me go to church, let me live with Jesus. But they are not okay with it. So they tortured me a lot. That when I used to go church, they used to tell me not to come home until 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and not to touch them or not to talk to them and live separately. But yes, God had been faithful in my life. And they told me indirectly, if you want Jesus, you can leave. And day by day, the torture was more that they did not like that I'm living with Jesus. So I used to pray in the midnight after everyone went to sleep. So one day indirectly, they told me that if you want Jesus, get lost. As they said, get lost if you want Jesus. I came out with my luggage and standing on the road, that thinking, I know God is there for me wherever I go. And same time, the local church people have called me to stay with them. That's where, even my friends were discouraged me that, just because of Jesus, that you can't see Him in person, and why you are leaving this house, food, everything, relatives, everybody. But all I know, there is no one important than Jesus in life. And I went to stay in the local church as they sheltered me. That's where I understood that this world said get lost, but God gave me His house as my house until I find some shelter. How amazing is that? I praise God for that. As the enemy started attacking me more, I was going through depression, suicidal thoughts and everything. But God rescued me from all the difficult situations in my life. And also I felt God asking me to work with the destitute people to help them, that is to prepare my heart for His ministry. So I came to Hyderabad, started working with Just Paul Second Chance for 6 months to prepare my heart to serve the destitute. As in my professional life, I was working as a HR recruiter and looking out for a better opportunity as a senior HR recruiter. One of my clients suggested me to join one organization where I heard a lot of negativity about the company and the people and the environment. So people suggested me to not to join there, but I felt God asking me to join there. But I did not understand why, even though the company wasn't good enough with a negative environment, but God asked me to join there. I chose to join there. And after joining, I experienced a lot of negativity in the company, and there was a lot of issues going on in the company. People were being fired out, even though people who were working very hard, and the next was my turn to be fired out. But God has been faithful in my life. Since there was a lot of issues going on in the company, that's where my super boss, who's a good Christian, got involved in this and got to know all what had happened. Then we had a meeting, and that's where I got my hike and double promotion as a HR team lead and client coordinator, suggested by client knowing my work. And we started getting more clients. Since the business is more, I have hired one more HR team. With my promotion, God turned firing people into hiring people. As I started feeding one homeless people to 20 homeless people with my earnings, And in 2023 Jan, I felt God asked me to start an Instagram page which is called Love is Giving. As Jesus is love, He always gives. After starting an Instagram page, Love is Giving, feeding 20 homeless people become feeding 200 homeless people. I praise God for this amazing thing that He has done in my life. Not only feeding people, but also providing their daily needs. It can be clothes, footwear, food, everything that, whatever their regular needs. I praise God for it. With my story, what I would like to tell people is that whoever is going through difficulties, seasons, and tough times, valleys, depression, suicidal thoughts, with my experience, God was always with me in my life so that He can be with you. In my loneliness, in my sufferings, in my tough times, in my depression, in my suicidal thoughts, every time He was there to rescue me, so He can be with you as well. Having faith in Jesus and trusting Him in difficult times and obeying Him brings us a lot of blessings in life and leads us into a good paths. Thank you.